Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One characteristic of a superior organism is adaptation, the ability to adapt to a new environment. The harsher the environment, the better an organism gets prepared and evolves, transforms into becoming stronger. That's why, how should I put it, insulated environments and mild environments create weak organisms, like a mild society like the United States and a pampered society which is concerned with safety mostly instead of courage and endeavor and all that. It's going to create weaker members or organisms of that particular environment. A harsher environment will create organisms that will learn how to fight and to survive. Therefore, they will be better prepared to survive in the world. And when those organisms from a harsher environment come into a milder environment and meet the weaker organism, the milder organisms, they will be eaten alive. So in this case, we have a situation where some certain things are imposed on certain countries in Europe by a control center, which is Brussels. Brussels is a hub of control because the main office is further from Brussels and not even in Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is at a different level. But then above Washington D.C., that's the level of real entities that are in charge, and those are the big entities associated with the financial system and the military system, industrial complex usually. Why? Because it's about guns and money, all right, and everything that comes with it. Who's got the guns definitely can get the money. Let's say the military do not have the money per se. A general doesn't make millions, but he can get the guys with billions to do whatever they want them to do. Why? Because they got the guns. Those guys with the billions don't have enough guns to face these guys. So these guys actually are in control. If you think that what I'm talking is very rough, well, this is how really life is. You know why? In reality, we are animals and we react the same way, or 99% in the same way, with little variations, but in the end we react the same way when we meet pleasure and pain. Okay, so we might be a little bit more sophisticated at the surface. We might think that we have virtue here and there, and we might give up a little bit later, but eventually if pressure is put on us, we're going to give up. Just a few of us would die for values, really for values. And I'm not talking about the guys that are deluded. I'm talking about a rational person. But let's go back to this article, which comes from Reuters. And this is from today. And it says that Hungary, Serbia agreed to build pipeline to ship Russian oil to Serbia. So what they're trying to do here, Hungary and Serbia, they have to adapt to an environment imposed by Brussels that obviously will protect certain countries, not other countries. Like Hungary and Serbia are dispensable countries. They are just, considered at the verge, at the end, at the extremes. Most important countries in Europe obviously are Germany, France, to a little extent, if you want to take Italy, but Italy now it's lost because of Meloni. You got Switzerland, which is in its own league, and that's about it. That's about it. Austria is too small, Poland too small, not small as a population, economically. Okay, and it depends militarily on others. Like, for instance, Germany depends on the United States, not France. So France is the most. I'm not including Great Britain in this, because Great Britain is the house servant. It's not the outside, a plantation slave in this club. So let's see what's going on here with these guys. Budapest. Hungary and Serbia have agreed to build a pipeline to supply Serbia with Russian Urals crude oil via the Druzhba oil pipeline as Belgrade shipments via Croatia fall under EU sanctions, the Hungarian government said on Monday. So, Serbia is, I think it's a landlocked country nowadays, I think it is, and they do not have, they can't have oil coming unless it comes from Croatia. Croatia is under the sanctions, so they have to follow certain rules. So they will not deliver oil as they want because people from Brussels, Washington and others do not want that to happen. So they have to shoot themselves in the foot for the interest of other countries. Therefore, Serbia is hurt. Now Serbia has to adjust to this BS situation and goes to Hungary. It's unbelievable how these countries, and it's great to see that these countries that hated one another to death, they hold hands now and they help one another. Remember, the First World War started between whom and whom? All right, you're right. Started between Serbia, right, and Austria and Hungary, correct? That's how it was. The Archduke of Ferdinand was an Austria-Hungary throne heir. I'm sorry, heir of the throne, whatever, you know what I mean? He was in the next one in line. When he was assassinated, I think it was in Belgrade, I think. So that's how the First World War started, because they hated one another because of some little border issues, okay? And not only. So now you see them helping one another after what, 107 years or something, or 8 years or whatever it is. Unbelievable. That's why when you hear these weasels like stupid Borbeck, Annalena Borbeck, or whatever her name is, the foreign minister of Germany, saying that, or Blinken, we will never do this with Russia, we'll never say never. You destroyed Germany during the Second World War, and now you're friends because Germany got its balls snipped in 1945. Anyway, so let's go and see what's going on here. Last week, the European Union agreed on new restrictions against Russia over its war against Ukraine, which include an oil price cap for Russian seaborne crude deliveries to third countries. Serbia gets its oil via the JANAF oil pipeline from Croatia. So it depends on Croatia. Remember when Trump told Germany that, hey, you should not buy gas from Russia because Russia can blackmail you? Now, Serbia is actually at the whim of Brussels through Croatia. So what should they do? They try to do something with Orban and create something together because these guys are weasels. Anyway, so, and I'm quoting, the new oil pipeline would enable Serbia to be supplied with cheaper Urals crude oil connecting to the Friendship oil pipeline. Druzhba means friendship. Hungarian government spokesman Zoltán Kovács tweeted. He added that Serbia's oil supply was largely via a pipeline through Croatia. And I'm quoting, but this is unlikely to be possible in the future because of the sanctions that have been adopted. Hungary, which is largely reliant on Russian oil and gas, has been the most vocal critic of sanctions against Russia in the EU, saying the measure drove up energy prices. Budapest backed last week's sanctions package. The southern branch of the Druzhba, or Friendship pipeline, runs via Ukraine to Hungary, Slovakia and the Czech Republic, and has been the primary source of supply for the three countries' refineries for years. Serbia's sole oil company is NIS, my bad, in which Russian Gazprom Neft and Gazprom together hold a majority stake. Earlier this month, Hungary also said it would help out Serbia with gas if needed. Hungary has gas reserves covering about 5 to 6 months worth of consumption, Prime Minister Viktor Orban stated. Great guy. So, we got Vučić and we got Orban, and they hold hands in need. Why? Because they know who the enemy really is. Is the one who wants to strangle your economy, destroy your society, destroy your traditions, And I don't have to get into that because I'm hoping you're very aware with what's going on in Hungary and in Belgrade with a big march that wants to be imposed on Belgrade against the advice of the Orthodox Church over there and the population there. This kind of festivities are not welcome because their society, the society does not have that kind of trend imposed by others in their society. But the EU tries with money. I'm not going to give you money if you don't allow them to show you their dicks. And that's the way it goes, unfortunately. So good. I'm very happy to see that these guys cooperate. You don't like monopoly, but these guys seem to like monopoly when it's about certain interests. I'm talking about monopoly that is Brussels tells you what to do, because you say, well, no, they all voted for. Well, you know how that vote goes, right? Yes, yes, yes. That's why if you make it a secret vote, you're not going to have all yes. You're going to have some no's too. But when it's about voting, then you see who's voting what, and you look, huh? How are you voting? Huh? Okay, you want to vote that way? Okay, you. That's how it goes. What do you think? Do you think those guys are? No, they're not. Look at their actions, and then you'll find out. If you have you don't need a lifetime. I need 10 years, and if you pay attention, you're gonna see patterns, and they're the same. Actions over time, they apply the same rule, the same people, the same weasels. So it makes you think, what's going on here? Is that a plan, or they're just weasels, or both? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.